Right now, I am in Bali, and I've been spending a lot of time in solitude, reflecting on Susan Cain's amazing book, Quiet. And as an introvert, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experiences and the ways in which I've tried to build a life that is not only conducive to my quiet nature, but actually empowers me to navigate a world that can be so goddamn loud. I am an introvert. It's one of the few characteristics of my personality that I've never questioned. As a kid, I was super shy. Even around close friends and family, I kind of struggled to fully express myself. And in high school, followed the crowd, and when I did stand out, it wasn't because I was being socially gregarious, it was because I was doing magic tricks or playing the piano. And in college, kept to myself, and my social circle didn't really expand that much beyond where it was in high school. And then lastly, in the corporate world, I performed well and I made some close friends, but I struggled a lot with networking and creating a personal brand in the office. And for about 40% of you, these characteristics are going to sound oddly familiar. And if that's the case, you're most likely an introvert. Experts have countless ways to define introversion. Susan Cain's most simple definition goes something like this. Introverts are people who prefer quieter, more minimally stimulating environments. That's all. Introverts think more than they talk. They have a passion for thought and they draw energy from discussing ideas. In social situations, introverts prefer one-on-one discussions about more intimate topics like childhood experiences or adult love life, and they don't really enjoy telling stories solely to entertain. Now, if you are an introvert, you're like, yep, that's my shit. But let's be honest, in today's society, especially in the West, introversion has its drawbacks. Yes, we excel in the corner of the dimly lit cocktail bar, pontificating about the nature of existence with a friend. But how do we do under the lighting of the boardroom, the classroom, or the nightclub? In these other environments, introverts often run into challenges presented by something that Susan Cain calls the extrovert ideal. The extrovert ideal. For this, let's go outside. Let's go out into the chaos that is Ubud. The idea of the extrovert ideal is that over the last 100 years, our society has really emphasized extroverted traits as desirable and more useful than introverted traits. So think Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. In order to be successful in life and in business, you must be bold, social, expressive. You must make yourself known. To illustrate this, I'm going to give you two examples of how the extrovert ideal has popped up in my life. The first example is with travel, the second example is with work, and then after I give those examples, I'll chat a little bit about the ways that I handle these situations when they do arise. So as I travel, especially when I'm traveling solo, people tend to make a couple of assumptions about me. They tend to think that I'm an extrovert, and they tend to think that I want to do and see a lot of things all the time. And these two assumptions have at times made me feel almost as if I'm traveling wrong or that I'm not getting the most out of my trip, whatever that means. And the reason is that I don't really thrive in overstimulating, chaotic, busy tourist traps. I like to experience a new city slowly at my own pace. And to be totally honest with you, I don't really care that much about seeing everything. In my work, the extrovert ideal particularly had an impact on my ability to be visible in the corporate structure and be considered for promotions. So, as an example, the last time I interviewed at the company that I was working for about 2.5 years, the first question that the hiring manager asked me was, "Why haven't I heard more from you?" Right? So his concern is, "Hey Tyler, I'm glad you're going for this job, but how come I haven't seen you tell me about what you're doing? Or why haven't you asked more questions? Or why aren't you kind of socializing with the team that you want to be a part of?" Right? And this is kind of the epitome of how the extrovert ideal has infiltrated the mentality of corporate America, right? It's like, if you want a job, if you want to succeed, if you want to get promoted, you should be visible. You should be taking people out to lunch. You should be asking people questions. You should be doing laps around the office and making sure everyone is aware of your intentions. And I struggled a lot with that. So, time to switch up the scenery. Today I'm heading south to Canggu, Bali, and don't worry my introverted friends, I'm bringing you with me. Boom, you're in Canggu. You didn't even need a bus, did you? So let's do it. Let's jump into the 4-step process to free you and your friends and your family from all your introversion problems that have ever existed. First, you gotta lift heavy weights. Secondly, you gotta take a cold ass shower. Third, you have to meditate. And then fourth, you have to read 6 books a day. Once you do these 4 steps, all your problems will vanish out of your life. Guys, I'm just fucking with you, okay? The first step in dealing with the challenges of the extrovert ideal, at least for me, is not a behavioral change. It's a shift in mental and emotional perspective. It's the act of radical acceptance. It's to embrace your nature. And this acceptance should not come from a place of victimized surrender. It should come from a place of power. So, I imagine the tone of this acceptance is not this: "I guess this is the way that I am." The tone of this acceptance should sound something like, "This is the way that I am." Because introversion is not a bug in your DNA. It's a feature. If introversion were a trait without any utility, it would have been weeded out a long time ago through the process of natural selection. So, to apologize for your nature is to say sorry that your ancestors didn't die before they reproduced. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not something you would even consider doing if it weren't for the extrovert ideal. So, step 1, embrace it. Realize deep in your bones that it's okay to be quiet, because life is a single player game. It's only you. It's only you. So live in a way that makes sense to you and allows you to be your best self. Once you've embraced your nature, the next step is to feature it, because the benefits of extroversion are already highlighted by society. The advantages of introversion are quiet, and at least for right now, they require introverts to shine light on them when it's necessary. And in order to effectively emphasize and feature your uniqueness, you might have to do something I call an internal audit, and you might need to do some external research as well. This is why a book like Susan Cain's Quiet is so crucial to read, because it doesn't only help introverts understand why they are the way they are, it helps them understand why the way they are is useful to the world at large. So to relate this concept of featuring to my 2 examples from earlier, with the travel example, when at the end of the day, if someone asked me, "Hey Tyler, what'd you do today? What sights did you go see?" Rather than fall into the frame of describing what I saw or what I didn't see, I just tell them my truth in detail. So I might say, "Hey, you know what? I actually spent the entire day in this awesome coffee shop because I'm reading this book on the Austrian School of Economics, and it's been super interesting. Have you been reading anything lately that has you excited?" So with that response and with that question back, it allows me to step outside of the extrovert ideal and also make a statement about something that I value. So they toss me an extrovert potato, I don't even catch it. I toss them an introvert potato. If they want to catch it, they can, but they don't have to. That's okay with me. With the work example, when that hiring manager asked me, "Why haven't I heard more from you?" I didn't shy away from that question, not at all. In fact, I was more prepared to answer that than almost any other question. So I emphasized and highlighted why my nature works for me, why it makes me a better employee, and then described how he and his team could benefit from me bringing that nature to the team dynamics. And by the end of that conversation, he was really impressed with my answer and my honesty. And I think I helped him realize that being quiet is not the same as being scared. And I can't emphasize this enough. As an introvert, when you unapologetically highlight your nature, it can have a big impact on people, because on the surface, introverts can appear to lack confidence, but that's simply not the case. We do have confidence. We have confidence in our preferences for lower levels of stimulation. Alright, so you're learning to embrace and feature your introversion. Now it is time to optimize your life situation, your environment, your work in a way that will empower you to be your best. And in order to do this, you need to be deeply in touch with your needs in particular environments. And you also need to keep a keen eye out for opportunities to make a unique impact with your certain set of skills. So, when it comes to environment, when you're working on a personal project, in what environment do you feel most focused, comfortable, and productive in? When you're in different social environments, can you get a sense of the boundaries between boredom and overstimulation? What you should do is find those boundaries and live and work in that sweet spot. Because when you're in that sweet spot, you're going to be at your creative and social best. And from that place of strength, you're going to be able to capitalize on unique opportunities where your set of skills are required. So I have two examples of ways that I optimized for my nature and made an impact. The first was in college. So I had mentioned how I kind of kept to myself in college, but I did find ways to get out into really social environments. And the way I did that was I picked up DJing. So on weekends, I would be out in these really social, really stimulating environments, but I was doing so in a way that worked for me. I was up in the DJ booth, I was focused on being creative with the music, and from that place, I was able to influence the energy of the entire room and connect with people without saying a single word. The second example was actually at work. So in early 2018, everyone in my department was asked to do a very specific assignment, one that required creative writing and required us to record ourselves on video. And I knew this was right up my alley, and I took the opportunity to complete the task in a really unique way, in a way that I thought was entertaining and kind of funny and unique. And that video ended up going viral throughout the company, and some of the highest executives in the organization saw it and shared it. And through taking that one unique opportunity to be me unapologetically, capitalize on my set of skills, I was able to build a personal brand within the company in one day that would have taken years of traditional networking to actually achieve. So those are just two examples. If you are an introvert that has a story of a unique way that you kind of made an impact, I'd love to hear it down below. So leave a comment with the time where you kind of put yourself out there, saw an opportunity, and really capitalized on a way to express yourself. So you've learned to embrace, you've learned to feature, you've learned to optimize. Now, my friends, it's time to challenge. And I'm not talking about challenging the extrovert ideal, we already did that. I'm talking about challenging yourself. And to put my money where my mouth is, that's part of the reason I came out to the beach to record this video in public, because This is not the most comfortable environment for me to do this, to be totally honest, but I'm doing it because I think it is crucial that even though I believe the foundation of life should be built upon self-love, self-acceptance, there's always room to grow. There's always novelty, always results in some type of growth, okay? So even though I want you to accept yourself and optimize for your nature, I still want you to get out there. I still want you to challenge yourself. Just in the same way that extroverts should learn to be quiet and listen more, introverts should test themselves, put themselves out there, and learn to be a bit more loud. So whatever that means to you, maybe every day you give a compliment to a stranger, or every day you try to say hi to somebody you find attractive. Whatever that small goal may be, make sure to challenge yourself. Don't let these labels go to your head too much. We're all unique, and we're all a different mix of introvert, extrovert. So the labels are useful when trying to kind of discover your personality and your mindset, but don't get too attached. Always be sure to live on your edge, because it's good to optimize, it's good to be comfortable, but at the same time, there's always room for growth. Anyways, I really hope you guys liked this video. If you did, it would mean a lot to me if you would hit the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. And I'm hoping to make some more content like this. So thanks again for anybody who watched. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll see you next time.